And now last, but we think not least, Diego Bernal, who is a city councilman musician, it says here. Before he became city councilman for District 1, he was probably best known for his involvement in the local arts as well as a music scene, and also a San Antonio native with undergrad master's and law degrees from the University of Michigan for some reason. He cut his teeth in civil rights advocacy with groups like the NAACP Legal Defense Fund and MALDEF, eventually returned to San Antonio and worked for MALDEF as a staff attorney. And as a musician, he has released 2 successful albums and contributed to other local, national, and international projects. It says read it like that. It does. As a dedicated member of the San Antonio community, it says right here, Diego is always looking to find ways to give back to the community that has given him so much. Please welcome and vote for Diego Bernal.
Hey guys. First of all, let me tell you how wildly unprepared I am for this. As you can imagine, it's been a busy week, and so I'm apologizing ahead of time for the poor quality of the slides and so forth. The other thing is that you should give a round of applause to all the folks who came before me, because it really warms my heart to see how much real talent we have in this town. That's why I love this event. We'll do a quick news flash, and then I'm glad that Ernest is here. All right, this is District 1. This is my district. That's the center of the city. You'll see that we grew above. We're in it right now. You'll see that it goes to Southtown all the way up to King William. But like I said, these slides are terrible because I've been busy with some other things. The first of which, of course, if you've been reading the paper, is Hemisphere. Hemisphere, look, we've been talking a lot about development. We've been talking a lot about hotels. That could very well be a piece of it, but let me tell you straightforwardly that Hemisphere is a park for the people of San Antonio, and you have our commitment. There will be a park for the city of San Antonio, a place that residents and visitors share equally. I've also been very busy trying to pass the city's first anti-discrimination ordinance for the LGBT community. Make no mistake about it, I was not prepared for this. It's like holding a political grenade to your face. But 1, I believe we'll get through it, and 2, it will pass. And we'll join the other cities in Texas. There was this thing over the weekend. Just so you know, at the airport, they measured about 10 inches in 4 hours. In Olmos Park, they measured 17 inches in 5 hours. There are some complaints about the way we handled it, but trust me, this is literally an act of God. It's also keeping me very busy. It's also why my slides suck. That is Ernest Gonzalez. You saw him earlier this morning, or earlier today. The rest of the presentation is about the way that Ernest Gonzalez changed my life. When I was in law school, I think that's the next slide. When I was in law school, I was working as a DJ and I was making music. There's me at Hogwarts. When I was in law school, I was working as a DJ and I was making music, and I was in Michigan near Detroit where the hip hop scene was burgeoning. JD and Eminem were huge, and it was really something special. I spent a lot of time going through old records looking for samples, as he talked about, pieces of bass guitars, drums, snare drums, keyboards to put together and make what I would consider a new composition. You find some incredible things when you're there. The next slide will show you that this is a guy who sang music about, it's a narco corrido, it's songs about the drug trade, and he's got an AK-47 and he's in a wheelchair. Sometimes you buy records just because of the way they look. You have no idea what they sound like. That's a good example of that. But in any case, that's where I made my music. For you audio nerds, I'm running Ableton with an APC-40 and a Newmark transportable turntable so I can listen to all those 45s as I'm buying them. I put them together there. The relationship between Ernest and I started at a place where a lot of questionable relationships start, especially in the late 2000s MySpace. I had a music page, and it was a great way for me to display my work anonymously and let people hear it and comment on it, and that's where I found Ernest, who also had a page there, and he was really good. It was really good, and it was from San Antonio. It blew my mind, and by really good, I meant he was much, much better than me. But I started to message him and talk to him about his music, the way that he made his music, how he did it, And it turned out that he owned a very small record label. And he asked me if I wanted to be on a record. And this is a lifelong dream of mine, to make music and put it out to the public. And so I sent him a song, and he actually used it. And he used it on a great record called Wait Till the Ice Melts. It's a collection of San Antonio and regional electronic musicians. And to have, you're just out of school, to have your music on a record for the first time, something you've thought about and dreamed about your entire life, meant a great deal to me. In my mind, I made it to the big time. I made it because I was on iTunes. And look, it may seem simple now, but back then, if you type in your name into iTunes and it pops up on iTunes and there's your name right there, and you can tell your friends to go and buy it, and you get, I think, 10 cents of every dollar that's spent. It was a very big deal for me. And he said, "Do you have any more?" And I said, "Yes." And then the reviews came in, and great magazines like Herb Magazine, Remix Magazine started to write about that record, and they mentioned my name right there. Forget the stuff above and below it. It's not important. But they said that I was good, and he said, "Do you have more?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Do you have at least an album's worth?" And I said, "Yes." And let me tell you what it feels like to be a guy whose dream comes true. You make music, you put it together, somebody puts it out on the record label with a very cool cover. But for Ernest Gonzalez, that would have never happened. And I can't, for those of you who have dreams as children, that's what it is. We kind of did okay. All of a sudden, the record label and the record did all right. I thought, this is kind of cool. And he said, "Well, can you do it again?" I said, "Well, maybe, I don't know. We'll see what I've got." But I think that we did it again, and it was awesome. For some reason, people like the first record more than the second one. I like the second record more. It's more mature. But then something else happened. Once you've put yourself out there like this, once you've decided that you're willing to share yourself with the world and be criticized for what you've done, the next step isn't hard. And let me tell you that I decided to run for office in Ernest Gonzalez's living room. Ernest and his wife, Devin, convinced me to do it. He designed that logo that night. And we did okay. We won. And then we did it again. And not only did we did it again, but we did it again with no opposition, which is cool. But again, I didn't do it justice. It's not a good slide, but this is Ernest. This is Ernest's design. And the two most important things I've done with my life, I'm not a father, I'm not a husband, but to really pursue your dreams in such a real way, not your dreams of making middle management, but your dreams of putting out a record and your dreams of representing your community, that would not have happened but for Ernest Gonzalez. So I thought I'd take the opportunity tonight at PechaKucha to say thank you to my friend Ernest Gonzalez. Thank you guys very much.
All right, thank you, Diego. We'll be fast. I know you got a politician, and the last thing you want to hear is no.
Guy in the suit.
First of all, Hemisphere.
Yeah.
What happened in the legislature with the Hemisphere bill?
We got a bill passed that's going to allow us to continue and really make Hemisphere a park where we have much more green space, usable space than we do now.
And a quick couple of questions about that. It's still very fluid, and you don't know whether you're going to get rid of things like the bunker that is the Institute of Texan Cultures, or
Sure.
what's going to happen with that?
Well, the thing with the Institute is that Austin's got to decide what they want to do with that. It's not really up to us. It's a UT thing. UT's got to decide if they want to invest money in it or not. We've offered them the primest piece of real estate in Hemisphere for free. They have to decide whether or not they want to do it. It's not up to us.
You mean if they don't, instead of the Institute, you want to blow down the Institute?
Look, the most popular corner in town is the corner of Hemisphere, right?
Right.
Right near the big sculpture. So we've offered them a piece to move in there. But they want us to build it out for them for $80 million. And we're saying, we're giving you the building for free. Get Austin to pay for that.
So what's going to happen?
Well, we're going to focus on the rest of the park for now. And they can figure out their stuff later, but we're not going to let them hold us up.
Okay. And how about the downtown grocery store thing?
Well, the downtown grocery store, look, the idea of a Constellation grocery store, I like. Whatever works best. All we know is that we need a grocery store or a series of grocery stores. I think he said a constellation of grocery stores. All work. We just want to make it safe for someone to do. That's what the incentive is for. We don't have one model that we're married to.
And what's going to happen with your future? I didn't hear any of the music. I did see 2 slides that worked in your logo nicely enough.
Yeah.
One full screen.
Yeah.
And so there are certain term limits, and then after that, there are certain other things.
In my future, the first thing I see is dinner tonight. And the second thing is that right now, Ernest and I are working on a record together. We're 5 songs in. We're going to either 8 or 12. We'll be releasing it for free. So I think that's the most important. For tonight, the most important thing is the record between the 2 of us.
Is there, now seriously, you got into politics later in life. That wasn't your first thing, although you got into law school. Come on, you grew up watching Henry Cisneros and the other little Castros.
Yeah, clearly I'm that guy.
Well, so the Castros, together you stack them on top of each other. And now, seriously, how much is music? Are you going to get into the music? You're going to keep the creative side? Obviously, you relate to.
I'm determined to put out this next record, and we'll see if that has a positive or negative effect on politics. I think that if you're in politics, you have to be as much as who you are all the time. If politics forces me to choose between music, which has no words, and politics, I'll probably choose music. I think that I expect this city to allow someone to do both.
Dude, awesome. I think you just got a couple of votes. And where can we, I have to do this with everybody else, where can we find your music? Is it still on iTunes? Or is it that Narco Corrido, who I really want to get that album?
No. It's on iTunes, but if you go to exponential.bandcamp.com, you'll find all of the Exponential record albums, and mine are on there.
All right, thanks. Give it up for Diego Bernal and all of these people.